Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, and I am still interested in the wine making or liquor making. So I pulled this article from the internet. It's about mead or cordial mead, the liquor from the wine, right? Is it raining outside? I don't know. I'm looking out the window. It sounds like raining, but not sure. It is. So I have to take the car to work. Damn, it's raining outside. But that means I would have ample amount of time to read this lengthy article. So let's find out how the mead is made. And I will try to read it aloud for you and for myself. While doing that, I would like to focus on the correct pronunciation and the instant pickup of the meanings and memorization of the new words and cliches and a review of all those terms, expressions, and sentences that I already knew. So I will repeat I'll stop and repeat at the expressions that I would like to remember. So don't be surprised. Here we go. Almost off grade. Beginner's Guide to Making Mead, March 13th, 2019. Yeah, I like an off-grid lifestyle, but you cannot get away from it at all because we all live in the modern days. Mead is a beautiful honey mixed with water and fermented with yeast. It can also be flavored with herbs, fruits, spices, or hops. Spiciness, right? We keep bees and we make mead. Let's talk about it. Talk about the way to make mead. We keep bees and we make mead. There really isn't just one way. That's good. There gotta be multiple ways to brew your own mead. You will find endless blogs, books, and advice out there. They will all differ. Incidentally, whilst we are on the subject of mead books, one option is for your very own mead making journal. You will find the Mead Journal on Amazon written by me, packed with hints, tips, and recipes at the front, storefront, followed by over 100 lined pages to record your tasting notes and recipes. It's a great way to keep all your meaty information in one place. Meaty, not needy, but meaty information. I had my first go at making mead from scratch a long time ago. I had my first go at making my first mead from scratch a long time ago. I had my first go at making mead from scratch a long time ago. I had my first go at making mead from scratch a long time ago. And I used the cheapest supermarket honey I could find to make it. I ended up with what was, in effect, sugary water. I then faffed about for a year before trying again. Faffed. Never heard of the expression faffed. Maybe British slang, like a goofed around, right? Because I didn't want to use good, aka expensive honey, mess it up and waste it. Yeah, faffed. Like a postpone, doing nothing, and tinkering with other stuff, goofing around. What does mead taste like? Well, that depends on the mead. Just like wine, mead can be sweet or dry, still or sparkling. It can be made with a fruit, flowers, vegetables, herbs, and or spices. And it doesn't always taste of honey. It can be made with fruit, flowers, vegetables, herbs, and spices. And it doesn't always taste of honey. If you have tried mead before and weren't like keen, try a different one. Weren't that keen, just like beers and wines, there will be one for which you have a preference. And of course, it's a great fun working out which one that is. It's a great fun working out which one that is. It's a great fun working out which one that is. Sourcing quality honey. Clearly, keeping bees isn't the only way to ensure a plentiful supply of quality honey for mead making. But we started to keep bees with mead in mind. If you are not sure where to buy quality honey locally, contact your local branch of the British Beekeeping Association. They should be able to point you in the direction of a beekeeper near you. If all else fails, you can buy British honey online. Yeah, they should be able to point you in the direction of a beekeeper near you, right? Cleaning and sterilizing. If you have good quality honey available, then really the only thing that could mess up your mead is by not cleaning and sterilizing your equipment effectively. As always, whichever home brew you are making, clean and sterilize all equipment that will come into contact with your brew. Fermenting liquids are an ideal breeding ground for bacteria, and unwanted bacteria will spoil your mead. Unwanted bacteria will spoil your mead. Fermenting liquids are an ideal breeding ground for bacteria. Fermenting liquids are an ideal breeding ground for bacteria, and unwanted bacteria will spoil your mead. There are a variety of cleaners and sterilizers to choose from, all of which are simple to use. Simply follow the instructions on the packaging, regardless of whether the instructions say to rinse off the swirling liquid. We always rinse everything thoroughly in cold water after sterilizing and just before use. Some don't. It's down to personal choice. Equipment needed to make mead. Well, only 6 items. You don't need much equipment. That's good. You don't need much equipment. Yeah, equipment is a non-countable noun, so instead of many, you use much. Let's remember that. You don't need much equipment. You don't need much equipment. You don't need much equipment. You don't need much water. You don't need much mead. You don't need much equipment. You don't need much equipment. 1 gallon 5-liter fermentation bucket. You can also make your mead in a PET demijohn or glass one for that matter. More here on glass demijohns and where to find them. Demijohns. I encountered these words before, but I cannot be that keen as to its meaning, right? If you are using a 4 bucket to ferment your mead rather than a demijohn, then you will need it to have a bored hole fitted with a grommet to keep an airlock in place. Grommet. to keep an airlock in place, to keep an airlock in place, to keep an airlock in place. So that's good expression, to keep an airlock in place, to keep an airlock in place, to keep an airlock in place. Demijohns, demijohn, a grommet, a bubbler airlock with a cap, and a bung if you are using a demijohn. Optional thermometer. We sell a mead starter kit which includes the equipment you need together with a sterilizer, yeast, and a recipe. A cleaner sterilizer as above, quality honey as above, a packet of mead yeast, water, some fruit depending on the recipe, a recipe. There are masses out there. A good place to start is Joe's Ancient Orange Mead Recipe, also known as Jiao. This is the mead recipe you will find all over the internet. It was originally posted by Joe Mattioli on website Got Mead many years ago and went viral. The Jiao recipe is perfect for beginners and it produces a really nice mead. There's no boiling or pasteurizing required. It's really straightforward. There's no boiling or pasteurizing required. It's really straightforward. Grommet, demijohn, keep an airlock in place. Making mead, the basic method. As I said earlier, there are endless recipes out there. Some will seem complex, some more simple, but most of them follow the same principles. There are the steps for making a simple distilled mead. 1. Mix honey and water together in a container of choice, whether that be bucket or demijohn. So demijohn is a container. Fermentation. I think that's the this one is demijohn, right? With a cap or lid. 2. Add mead yeast and some sort of additional nutrition to the honey water mixture. The added nutrition might be fruit such as raisins. Raisins are dried grapes, right? Dried grapes. 3. Fit the airlock to your vessel and wait. Keep the airlock in. Fit the airlock to your vessel and wait. The airlock or bung, right? Airlock. The yeast will start to work, turning the sugar into CO2 and alcohol. Remember that, turning the sugar, first you turn the starch to sugar using the mold, then you add yeast to break down the sugar into CO2 and alcohol. The airlock ensures no contaminants get in, but the CO2 gets out, making a satisfying B-loop. This This first fermentation could take anything from 2 weeks to a month, depending on the recipe and the temperature. 4. When the bubbling stops, that tells you the first fermentation is finished. Transfer the mead to a second bucket or demijohn, leaving the sediment behind. Store in a dark place for about 2 months. 5. Bottle and label. So it takes about 2 months and 2 weeks to finish the mead making. Like a lot of brewed drinks, mead improves with age. Maybe I should store it in an oak barrel. How soon you decide to drink it is entirely up to you. We generally leave it for at least 3 months. If you decide to drink straight away, as some do, don't be surprised if the mead tastes different a couple of days after bottling. This could be a bottle shock at work. Yeah, bottle shock at work. I wonder what the bottle shock is, but obviously it gives shock. The bottling gives the shock, so that the taste is different. Bottle shock. If this sounds like a lot of work, don't worry. It really is easy, and the more you do it, the quicker you get at it. The only hard and fast rules are effective cleaning and sterilizing and using good quality honey. The only hard and fast rules are effective cleaning and sterilizing and using good quality honey. Beyond that, it's simply about finding the recipe that you like. The only hard and fast rules are effective cleaning and sterilizing and using good quality honey. The only hard and fast rules. So here, fast means like something has been fastened, strong, unchanged, uninhibited. So here it means the only hard and fast rules are effective. Fast means unshakable, unchangeable. Something is in place right there, right? The only hard and fast rules are effective cleaning and sterilizing. The only hard and fast rules are effective cleaning and sterilizing, and using good quality honey. Beyond that, it's simply about finding the recipe that you like. Other mead making inspiration, check out the following books. Mead Making Journal, created by me, Beverly Toogood. A resource designed for you to keep all your mead notes and recipes in one place. Making Mead, a complete guide by Brian Acton and Peter Duncan. The first one we bought. The Big Book of Mead Recipe by Robert Ratliff. Make Mead Like a Viking by Jeremy Zimmerman. Or if you learn better by being taught, then see whether anyone is running mead making classes in your area. For example, Mentor Farm in East Sussex runs traditional mead making courses. They are taught by Steve, the mead guy, and we provide the equipment. Y Valley Meadery also runs mead making courses. Meadery. Okay, Meadery, brewery, or cooperage. Join us almost off-grid. Other almost off-grid favorites: elderflower and lemon mead, Joe's ancient orange mead recipe. Brewing tips: is it okay to use yeast which has expired? I think it's okay. Yeast is just germs. So from this article, we learn such expressions as grommet, Dear John. No, it's not Dear John, but what is it? Dijon, right? I don't know. It's mead is beautiful and picnic sky to making mead. Yep. Dijon, right? Sourcing quality honey, cleansing and sterilizing. The only hard and fast rules are using thorough cleaning and sterilizing, cleaners, sterilizers, Dijons, right? What is it? 5 grams per bucket. You can also make your mead in a PET demijohn, or glass one for that matter. More here on glass demijohns and where to find them. If you're using a full bucket to 4 bucket to ferment your mead rather than a demijohn, then you will need to have a bored hole demijohn. So let's go back and find. Yep, keep the airlock to keep the airlock in place, right? First, go to demijohn. A bulbous, narrow-necked bottle holding from 3 to 10 gallons of liquid, typically enclosed in a wicker cover. So carboy demijohn. So that's a demijohn. Sounds like a French or Spanish container, demijohn bottle. Demijohn. We see a lot of demijohn bottle that contains wine at a supermarket. Demijohn. I don't know, sounds like uncular, right? Quite friendly. Demijohn. Demijohn. And we go to airlock. Let's see how it looks like in real life. Airlock. Oh, okay, so that's airlock. I thought like a bung, but it's more like a simple circular, curvy, circulatory tube. Airlock. And this one is also airlock. What is an airlock? An airlock is a pocket of air in a pipeline that prevents the flow of water passing it. It can occur at a high point in a section of a pipe. Airlock. So air forms a lock. Airlock. An airlock is a compartment which permits passage between environments of differing atmospheric pressure or composition while minimizing. An airlock is a restriction of or complete stoppage of liquid flow caused by vapor trapped in a high point of liquid-filled pipe system. The gas being less dense than the liquid rises to any high points. This phenomenon is known as vapor lock or airlock. Okay, so that's airlock, demijohn, what else? Grommet, maybe plug, grommet. So that's grommet, man. That's grommet. Grommet. That's grommet. Like a plug. Cable grommet. That's cable grommet. We encounter these a lot because I work for Korea Telecom, KT, the number 1 carrier in Korea. Cable grommet. So let's go back to the correct definition. A grommet is a small ventilation tube inserted into the eardrum to allow air into the middle ear and prevent a buildup of fluid. A grommet is a ring or edge strip inserted into a hole through the material, typically a sheet of textile fabric, sheet metal, or composite of carbon fiber. Okay, thanks for listening. That's it. Take care. Bye-bye.